let's look back at a season that had lots of highlights and lots of great moments by reflecting on those and handing out some awards. Awards that I'm sure Arsenal players will be posting about on their socials. I mean, why wouldn't they? The James B Season Awards. I mean, it's so prestigious, isn't it? It's the first year doing it, but there we go. We're going to have a Player of the Season Award, a Performance of the Season Award. We're going to have a Game of the Season Award, Goal of the Season, and Surprise of the Season as well. Of course, I will be missing bits because it's so hard to remember 38 games and more. So let me know in the comment section below if there's anything I've missed out in any of these. And of course, I'd love to know your thoughts. And maybe next year I do it, we can have different awards involved as well. But look, let's start with Player of the Season. I'm going to give my shortlist right here. Declan Rice, William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, Martin Odegaard and Bukayo Saka. Ben White can consider himself incredibly unlucky not to be on that list, but I think that they are the best five. You can make a really good argument for every single one. Bukayo Saka, in terms of his pure output, maybe not being as electric and as amazing to watch on the eye as the season before, where he made Gary Neville's team of the season in 22-23, but the output was phenomenal. I think it's something like 20 goals and 14 assists in all competitions. 34 goals and assists is phenomenal outputs. This is a player who reinvented his game a little bit, continues to work so hard. No one has talked about that more than me on this channel, honestly, but the output has been really, really terrific, and he's found a way to reinvent himself. Martin Odegaard, I think, didn't quite get to his best till around December time, but then 2024 is one of the best performances. In 2024, I think you can argue he's been the best player in the Premier League. He's been that good, Martin Odegaard. Gabriel Magalhaes, absolute rock, and so crucial to what we do alongside William Saliba. The two of them, for the same reasons, play that centre-back position slightly differently. Both phenomenal, both on course to be world-class players if they're not already. And Declan Rice as well in there because of the difference he's made. How can you cost £105 million and yet be a bargain? So, my player of the season is Declan Rice. It's Declan Rice. This was really hard, and it honestly could have gone to any one of those five. But Declan Rice for a few things. I think performances in big games. Yes, I know a lot of you are pointing towards William Saliba, but performances in big games. He gave us a structure and a solidity and a platform that allowed us to take more control in these big games. There's a reason we didn't lose a single game against any of the big six opposition. There's a reason against our title rivals, we beat them both at home and we didn't lose once away. We picked up points where we could have even won those games in moments. Declan Rice was so massive for the foundation of this team to be bigger in big games, to at least be competitive with the Bayern Munich. And then he's also done it from multiple positions. He's been a six when Partey's been out and he's needed to fill that position, but in the absence of Granit Xhaka, he's been the closest to replicating that as well. Declan Rice has been utterly phenomenal, and I think when you're looking from day one up to the very end, he showed a consistency and an ability to deliver in so many different ways this season for Arsenal, whether it was on the front foot, on the back foot, whatever we had to do. Declan Rice was a part of it, and his reliability, consistency, and I know a lot of what I'm saying is applicable to lots of other players, but I think Declan Rice just edged it in the middle of the park where it's hardest to do it, in my opinion. You know, to control games and be everything you need your team to be in midfield, the heartbeat. I think he was massive. Odegaard, the heartbeat in a different way, but Declan Rice, utterly phenomenal. Performance of the season, here's my shortlist. I've got Odegaard versus Chelsea, the 5-0 win. What a performance. Couple great assists. Or that great assist for Havertz is really the one that stands out. Maybe there was another assist in there, I can't remember. Kai Havertz away at Tottenham was utterly brilliant as well. I mean, he led the line and he was crucial for that Saka goal. And just everything he did gave us a platform and you know, gave us some glue up the pitch so things would stick. We could get a foothold in a game that at times was tough. Saliba versus Liverpool away from home. That performance at Anfield where Konate, Van Dijk and Gabriel were immense as well, and Saliba came out on top. Jorginho at home to Liverpool was utterly sublime, playing in more of an advanced 8 role. Just linked everything together, was our ability to build out the back and then gave us some creativity in the left channel that we actually haven't had all season. He was brilliant, and Gabriel versus Man City away was utterly terrific as well. But I'm going to give it to Saliba at Anfield. What a performance. What a performance. He was amazing on the ball. He was composed. He dealt with a really, really difficult atmosphere. He just rose above what could have been a really difficult and hectic night, you know, an evening game at Anfield, and he was just brilliant, and he came out as the best centre-back on the pitch, where all four could have been man of the match. So William Saliba, away at Liverpool, was the performance of the season for me. But I've got to say, Ødegaard at home against Chelsea was very, very close. Now, my shortlist for game of the season in terms of Arsenal's best performance and my favourite game, you've got Arsenal beating Man City 1-0. You've got Arsenal beating Liverpool 3-1. Both of them were at the Emirates. The 6-0 win at West Ham was just a brilliant watch as well. The 3-2 win at Tottenham and the 5-0 win at home against Chelsea. Now, there's been other great wins. Maybe the performances weren't as good, like Old Trafford, for example. We won, but the performance wasn't amazing. I think with all of these, you can say that the performance was there with it. And the one for me, let me say my favourite one, was Arsenal beating Liverpool 3-1. I think the fact that they were a title rival, the fact they were top of the league when we did it, the fact that, you know, we scored 3 goals in that game, and actually when you reflect on it, probably more so than any of it. I mean, I know beating West Ham 6-0 away from home was great, but beating Liverpool and utterly dominating, like it was 3-1 and it could have been more. Arsenal were so good that day, and it was the game that pulled us back into the title race, and I think really, you know, we started to build momentum in 2024, but that one really carried us through, and I think just set the standard and the belief in this team that we could go and have a terrific 2024, and there was no one we should fear, and we saw that in that 3-1 win against Liverpool. That for me was the game of the season. 4-3 win at Luton in terms of the last minute goal, beating Man United 3-1 with late goals. They were great in lots of different ways, but as a complete performance, what it did for the season, I give that Liverpool win the edge on the rest. Now, my shortlist for goal of the season, I've got Jesus' one against Man United, chopping in, putting it, you know, going around Dalot and putting it into the far corner. That one was just brilliant. Because of the roar of the Emirates, the fact that we just scored a 97th minute goal, then we scored one in the 100th minute, whatever it was. I then got Trossard's against Everton. That finish is not easy. I've gone for slightly different goals here, where there were other great goals that we will mention, but Trossard's finish away at Everton was really good. I think looks easier than it is. I've got Rice against West Ham. What a strike, you know, to, you know, leather that the way he did, you know, rolled back to him and he just put it into the far corner when he'd just been getting, you know, abuse all game. Utterly superb. Havertz against Chelsea. I'm talking about the first one he got. That put us 3-0 up, where Ødegaard puts him in behind and he makes a really great run and rifles it into the roof of the net. I just think the pass from Ødegaard, the run from Havertz and the finish absolutely make it one of the goals of the season. And Saka versus Spurs, because the way we counter-attacked, because of the pass from Kai Havertz, the touch from Saka, cutting inside, putting it in the far corner, really great goal. And my goal of the season is in fact that Spurs one that Bukayo Saka scored, and it is because of it's the pass. It's the time we take. Havertz sets himself. The pass is immaculate. The touch is so good. And then, you know, when a winger does the obvious thing a winger should do, but they're so good at it that you can't stop them. That's what everyone used to say about Arjen Robben. You knew when you cut on his left foot, you couldn't stop him. And Bukayo Saka's got a way to go till he's Arjen Robben, but it was that ability to cut inside. And even though Ben Davies probably saw it coming, they just couldn't stop him. Like the way he took that chance was brilliant, and it put us 2-0 up in the title race away from home in the North London derby. That for me, for everything in the context around it, is the goal of the season. But there are other mentions. Saka's goal at home against Nottingham Forest, Declan Rice away from home against Chelsea, Jesus against Sevilla, and Nketiah, great strike against Sheffield United in the 5-0 win. Ødegaard versus Wolves. Do you remember the 1-2? I think was Zinchenko and Jesus, and then Ødegaard strokes into the back of the net. That was a great goal. He scored a great one against Burnley as well. Saka versus Bayern, I enjoyed that. And Havertz at home to Newcastle, and Jorginho plays it in behind to Martinelli, who cuts it back for Havertz. These were all great goals that I really thoroughly enjoyed throughout the season as well. And then I've got my shortlist for surprise of the season. Havertz's form. I don't think a lot of people saw that coming, but fair play. Some of you in the comments saying, James, I did. Fair play to you. If you did, well done. Havertz did really well up front. Raya versus Ramsdale was a surprise of the season. How much Raya played compared to how much David Raya played compared to Aaron Ramsdale. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see he'd be so unbelievably favoured as the number one, but fair play, he was. Jorginho's contribution to the season, he really did play a massive part in what I think was our best spell of the season. How clutch Trossard was, coming through with massive goals in massive games. And the Dubai trip, the moment that they all went off, having lost 3 games in a row. I think some fans were going, you better benefit from this, because we're not really sure about this, holiday the way we've been playing. But we came back and looked mesmerising. I think the Dubai trip really filters into the whole, the form we then produced after 16 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat. It was an unbelievable return from Arsenal after a trip that it seems they really needed, and that's why I give the Dubai trip the surprise of the season. Who knew that a team that had 12 wins, I think 4 draws and 4 defeats in their first 20 games could go to Dubai and come back, you know, having had a trip away with family, loved ones and the group, and ultimately come back so re-energized, so revitalized, clearly having worked on things in training that would go on to yield a set of results quite like that. So the Dubai trip gets my surprise of the season. I didn't think that moment would change our fortunes quite so much. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What else have I missed? What other categories? And what would you give your surprise of the season, goal of the season, game of the season, performance from a player of the season, and of course, player of the season overall? Let me know your thoughts. And I just want to say a really big thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, actually hit the links right here to watch more content like this, including my Football First podcast, which drops every Monday to Friday at 6 AM. And I know it's annoying, I am really sorry to have to ask, but if you want to show support to the channel, hitting the like and subscribe buttons help promote the content much more than you could possibly know. Thanks again.